I'm going to talk to you about ACRX, ACRX Pharmaceuticals Incorporated. This is an update video because I had already done a video around here. So I'm going to talk about some cool things. Number one, I'm going to talk about the technical analysis right now. And number two, I'm going to talk about the most recent article that they released. I'm going to talk about the press release. All right, so we're looking at the technicals right here. And you can see how I've drawn a trend line, or what I like to call falling resistance line. And basically, the usefulness of this line is to look for bullish breakouts. You can see a bullish breakout happens over here. So this is a really good time to go long on the stock. And now we can see again that the highs are falling. You can see highs are falling over here. And that's how you make a trend line. And yeah, so I'm thinking that this will have another breakout. That's my prediction for that. And another really odd thing that happened was the good news came out over here. So first of all, if you watch my previous video, there was no press release that happened over here. And then press release comes out at 8:30 at January 14th. Stock drops a bit, but then overall it rises in the following day. I'm surprised at like how it didn't really rise here, so that was really odd. But anyways, had you followed the trend line and you had followed the crossing of the EMAs, you would have known that it was pretty good to get in around this area. Okay, so that's finished. That's the technicals. I'm done with the technicals. Now let's talk about the press release that happened on January 14th. So this is always just going to be a summary of what the company does. So it's a pharmaceutical company. And then they talked about everything that happened in 2020. They said that they got a $30 million, they got a contract for, they got approval from Department of Defense. And they're expecting that this will bring in $30 million over the next 3 years. That's $10 million per year. It's kind of weird, but let's move on. So it says in March, so there's some really good stuff here. So it says in March they got a hospital to study the perioperative. Perioperative just means like surgical process. So the whole surgery process. So in March they got the hospital to study dysuvia in patients undergoing spine surgery compared to standard IV opioid regimen. So clearly your understanding here is that dysuvia is used for orthopedic surgeries. Orthopedic just means like musculoskeletal surgeries. So surgeries related to muscles and bone. And basically, it's just used for pain management. Similar to how fentanyl is used, dysuvia is used in the same way. Except, unless you're not aware, it's like 5 to 10 more times more powerful than fentanyl. And fentanyl has like the power of like 100 times morphine. So there's merit to why this is useful. There's merit to why this is not useful. I would argue that dysuvia will be around, and since it's already FDA approved, not only that, it's like patients that undergo surgery, they can't be awake during it. So there's like a very basic need for dysuvia. And I'll go on, like, as long as like fentanyl's around, I think dysuvia will be around. I think that's just like, unfortunately, yes, like there's people that abuse fentanyl. There's like a drug epidemic. It's like a huge problem. But that doesn't mean they're stopping the use of fentanyl. They still use it probably for surgeries. So now they're bringing, like, dysuvia has this, it's solving a problem, and I'll show you the problem that it's solving. So here they said in July they had a distribution agreement with Zimmer Biomet, and Zimmer Biomet needs to get some licenses first, but basically the distribution agreement is for the dental and oral surgery markets, and they're saying that dental surgeries is over 7 million in annual procedures. So basically this is an untapped market because they have not yet done a formal launch. This will be huge. Now I'm beginning to understand why people are thinking that this is like a $4, $5, like $9 stock kind of thing. Like there's a lot of untapped market that they're just waiting to get into. And then this news will come out and it'll pop. So if you're worried, don't worry. In August, there's a publication in the Journal of Clinical Anesthesia and Pain Management. They said that there's a greater than 50% overall reduction in opioids administered during surgery, and 34% reduction in post-anesthetic care unit time, PACU time, for dysuvia-treated patients compared to historical controls. So yeah, they're basically saying that dysuvia, you need less of it because it's more powerful, and also it decreases the recovery time. So that's amazing. So it's actually filling a need. So that's excellent. In August, there was this study with the effects of dysuvia on post-operative recovery from orthopedic surgery. So this is an ongoing study, okay? We have yet to receive news about an ongoing study. Okay, once it's completed, we'll have the news. And if it's good news, stock will pop. So I'm happy about this as well. In September, ACRX announced U.S. military access to dysuvia formulary. Formulary is just a list of medicines that, or drugs or whatever, that the military has access to. So I guess dysuvia has been added to that. Then they said in September, U.S. Army awarded ACRX a contract. So basically, U.S. Army is doing a study to how dysuvia is going to be used, and the result of that is they're getting $0.9 million a year for the next 4 years, and that's starting in September. So that's pretty sweet. In December, ACRX announced publication of clinical data in an article in the Journal of Universal Surgery, and our title was like blah blah blah, evaluation of suventanol for management of surgical pain. And basically they said that dysuvia can provide more rapid PACU, which is just post-anesthesia care. It's like recovery time. It can provide faster recovery times. And basically orthopedic surgery patients had the largest decrease in recovery time, it seems. Let's see. No, sorry. Largest decrease in opioids received. Yeah. Well, it's more powerful, again. And traditionally, IV opioids is going to be with fentanyl. And this is sufentanil, so yeah, it's more powerful. Achieved 348 formulary approvals. So formulary, like I said, it's a list of approved medicines. So more people, more entities are actually approving the dysuvia. And then they said 2020 revenue was about 5.4 million, and 2020 cash balance was 50 million, roughly, or actually roughly 40 million. This is cash is going to be, I'm an accountant, so we know that cash is the lifeblood of the company. So if they're good on cash, they're going to be around and they're healthy. So this is a good sign. CEO seems to be pleased. I won't talk about everything that they talked about. So that's how I interpreted this article. I hope that shed some light on it.